Have you been feeling like your reality has been breaking down? Well, in this video, I will talk about something called the dark night of the soul. This, you could say, is the initiation for your spiritual awakening to happen. Now, I had my dark night of the soul back in 2017. I had a really bad trip and it completely changed my reality. The first thing I thought of when I started experiencing what I experienced was I'll never be the same. Now, many dark nights of the soul will feel that way. If you are a viewer and you feel that way right now, it's okay. It is part of the process. It is part of the awakening. If you've seen the movie The Matrix, you could call that taking the red pill and the initial shock of realizing how reality is completely different than what you might have been programmed to believe since you were a child. So more on the dark night of the soul. It feels traumatizing. It feels really painful. I remember when I had my dark night of the soul, everything that I had repressed in me was out in the open. I started realizing that the way that my life was going wasn't exactly how the deepest in me wanted it to go. And there was a sense of depression and anxiety too, of it not going the way that I truly wanted it to go. That I wasn't following my true self, my true path. I was kind of diverging from the path that I intended to take when I was here. Now, this is similar to your situation. Dark nights of the soul uncover what's hidden in you. It reveals it. Think of a moon's luminous light. When there's a full moon, the light soothes everything around it. It shines around everything, and it allows light to emerge and things to be clear. The dark night of the soul is a moment when the darkness in you, a light is shined on it. This is awareness. This is your higher self shining a light on it. And like the moon has a perfect cycle, how it's not a full moon always, but we see different phases of it, your higher self also has a perfect cycle and a perfect plan for you. So when it does reveal with the light of its awareness this darkness in you, this dark night of the soul, it knows you are prepared for it. Even though it may feel really, really painful and you're like, hey, honestly, I wasn't prepared for this at all. Well, remember and know that it takes a shock, something to shake your reality for you to awaken out of the dream that's going on right now. The forgetting process and the process of conditioning that you've experienced takes something traumatizing or very different for you to break out of it. And the dark night of the soul presents this. This could be an accident. This could be even a layoff of a job, a bad trip that reveals things, a mental crisis. A crisis is the best way to explain it actually. When you're in a state of crisis, when you know that your life cannot continue the same way, that's when this dark night of the soul happens. And it's a really, really beautiful point. It's a point where sometime when you've gained the awareness and the light out of the situation that you've gone through, you will look back on and you'll see that it was the beginning of such a new chapter in your life. Many times, at least for me, I became a completely different person. And I could even consider that moment a birthday in a sense. I've been seeing videos of ayahuasca rituals lately, and that's something they say when the people come back from this cosmic experience, this profound experience, when they come back to awareness and the shaman's there, or even during it, when they come through a breakthrough and they kind of express it to the person, the first thing they say, they smile and they say happy birthday, because they know that the awakened you has come in, that you're starting to remember who you are. So it's a very special moment. What you're living right now, or if you've already had this moment, it's a very beautiful and special moment that even though right now you might see it as the worst thing ever, potentially, or a very hard moment, you will have gratitude for this moment. There is light and there is clarity, and what's happening is things are just being revealed of you. And internally, you've always known this. You've always felt this, but it's just exposed so beautifully with the light of awareness, with the shining light of the moon, of the full moon. It's being revealed. And it's being laid out in a very open way for you to know, okay, here are the things of how I'm perceiving reality that are causing pain. Here are the habits that aren't constructive, that I intuitively feel aren't constructive to my advancement in life as a person, as a being, as a soul, as an entity. But now that I know this, I can change. And now I've been changing every single day, but with this information, with this awareness, I feel a major breakthrough happening. To the extent you feel pain, you could transmute that energy into positivity and positive habits. All that energy that's repressed could be shifted to the other pole, from the lower realms to the higher realms. Energy is just energy. Your focus and your identification is what makes it be part of your reality. Another very powerful thing to understand of this moment, if you're going through the dark night of the soul, if you're awakening, is that you are not your emotions and you are not your thoughts. You are the observer above your emotions and above your thoughts. Now let that set in for a moment. Become aware. Realize that you don't need to try to understand my words. By simply being there, all that information can be perceived. Your subconscious is getting it all. Think of music as well. Music, when you're really enjoying it, you're not thinking about listening to it. It just happens. It is effortless. And you don't keep pausing, you let it run. So your dark night of the soul is part of this musical song, you could say. It's a note in it. It might be a low note. But let that song run. And accept that there's a low note in the song of your life. But realize that this note is not you. You're the composer. You're the person who's creating the song. So you could change that note. And it will change. Because everything is cyclical. There's tides of high and low. But what happens is that when you awaken, when you understand the laws of the universe, you become the master of these cycles. And when you see that a lower cycle is coming, you have the tools for it to not be as hard as before. And it's exciting. Challenges or difficulties become challenges. You start perceiving things in a different way. Now you might be in a stage in your life right now where you're questioning a lot of things. you're like, hey, like the way society works and these other things, or you might see your friends doing certain activities or feel disconnected from the world and realizing that, oh shoot, it's completely different, and that's shocking. It's okay. It's okay. The clarity is setting in, and the answers are there. My intuition is just telling me to share with you guys to study the laws of the universe. Remember that the present moment is your moment of power. Everything happens in the present moment. There is enormous potential in the present moment. You think about the past and the future all through the present moment, so it's an illusion that future and past exist, for there only is this present moment. If you're feeling a lot of anxiety or any lower emotion, you could say, try to become present. Listen to sound. Or pay attention on an object that is around you. Give your full attention to it. Notice the details. Try to listen to the sound that is all-encompassing, which is the sound of nothing. The sound from which all sounds emerge. Try to listen to that. You'll see that a peace starts emerging. Now going back to the song of your life and the dark night of the soul being a low note, don't be so desperate to go to the end of the song already or to the high notes. We gotta enjoy this song, and the clarity will come in. You'll receive the answers that you want. Now know that these answers sometimes do not come in words. It comes as a feeling place. The best way I could explain it is that it comes as a feeling of comfort. A knowing that all is well and that you're okay. A feeling place of peace. So the answers are there, they are coming. Let that song play out. Remember, divine timing is very powerful. This dark night of the soul was planned, and it happened in divine timing. It had to happen this way. The more clarity you gain, the more you study the laws of the universe, you'll realize that every single event in your life had a purpose and an impact, and they all connect together beautifully. Just like Steve Jobs when he gave one of his last speeches that said, the dots make sense when you're at the end. That's when they start connecting. Sometimes they may not connect in the present moment when you're looking at your life. It might be all scrambled and you could be like, what? But it's really easy to see the dots connect when you're at the very end of your life. Or you're at the end of anything, because you know what happened already. So it's easy. Another word of advice during this dark night of the soul is become comfortable with the uncomfortable. The more comfortable you become with the uncomfortable, the less pain you will feel, and the more you'll let yourself expand. In reality, the place in you, the thing that's fighting this uncomfort or this not knowingness, is your ego. The ego is scared of its destruction, so it's using all of its tools to kind of not let you expand. Now the ego is useful, but to a certain degree. It lets you experience reality. It lets you do things for communication purposes. But it also has that monkey mind segment to it. That segment of it that will not want you to awaken, because the ego feeds off of drama and lower emotions, negativity. So when it feels its annihilation coming soon, not so much annihilation, but its predominance leaving, because you realize that you're the observer and there's a higher part of you that encompasses the ego actually and is higher than the ego. If it gets scared, like the child that's scared of its toys being taken away, it becomes scared. So it uses these tools. And what are these tools? Negative thought loops, memories that are painful to you. It uses the smart, it is really clever. It uses the smartest things that it knows will kind of grab you and you'll be like, oh, this is scary. This hurts. Dark night of the soul. One of its strategies. Not bad, but painful. So recognize that this ego aspect of you is being dismissed. It's not taking hold of the wheel anymore. This higher self of you is setting in. Now it takes time for this higher self of you to take control, because the ego's kind of been in control of many things right now. So it doesn't want to let go of that control. In these moments, just look at your thoughts like clouds. Look at the ego's arguments like clouds and let them go. And kind of see the ego in a way of a child that's been hurt. Don't judge it. Just know that it's like a child that's been hurt, innocent, but has had trauma. And that's why the child acts the way he does. But not judging it is a big aspect. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge anything that you've done in the past either. Learn from it, but don't go on making it a habit to beat yourself up, because you know deep down that that's not constructive to you and you can't expand through that. There is hope, there is light, and I'm here to tell you happy birthday. Because even though your reality might be crumbling, it's an elusive reality, illusionary reality. And you are gaining such a beautiful insight as to the reality of life, and you are coming to your own empowerment, that this is a really exciting moment. So, congratulations actually. This dark night of the soul is a massive step forward in your evolution, your awakening, and your empowerment. And you will look back on this situation with gratitude and be happy. Be happy that it happened. You'll see this. This moment is everything. Much love, much blessings. Although I can't see your guys' face, I'm sending you guys beautiful energy. And I know that you guys will get through this. And you guys hold immense power. And if you're a viewer that has already gone through this, I send you a huge blessing. And I'm grateful for you. And I'm glad you went through that. And if you've gone through this, maybe in the comments you could share a little of your experience, because it's really comforting knowing that someone else has gone through what you've gone through. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.